My name is Dmitri Volkov. I am 28 years old. And I died in a field of mud and ice. Before all this, my life was small. And I mean that in a good way. I lived in a little village a few hours from the city. I was a carpenter. I loved the smell of sawdust in the morning. I loved the feel of solid wood under my hands. I was married to the most beautiful woman in the world, my Anya. We had a little girl, Sofia. She had her mother's eyes and a laugh that could make the birds sing. My life was about fixing chairs, eating the soup Anya made, and teaching Sofia how to count the stars. We went to church on Sundays. I prayed, but maybe the way you breathe. You do it, but you don't always think about it. I never thought about war. I never thought about death. I just thought about getting a new roof on the house before the snows came. Then the world changed, and I was sent away. I became a soldier. The man who built things was given a gun and told to break things. Every day was cold, every day was loud, and every day I just wanted to go home. I missed the smell of wood. I missed my wife's smile. I missed the weight of my daughter in my arms. The day it happened, it was just like any other. Cold, gray. The air smelled like wet dirt and metal. We were moving through a stand of skeletal trees. There was a whistle, a sound you learn to hate more than anything. I remember thinking about Anya, just a flash of her face. That was it. Then a sound so loud it wasn't a sound anymore. It was just pressure and fire. And then nothing. Complete silence. The pain was gone. The cold was gone. The fear, all gone. I felt light. I opened my eyes, but it wasn't my body's eyes. It was something else. I was floating, just gently rising up like a piece of ash from a fire. Below me, I saw the scene, the trees, black and broken, the frozen mud, and I saw bodies, my friends, and I saw my own body. It was lying there, twisted and broken. There was so much blood. It was strange. I felt a sadness, like I was looking at a sad movie. But I didn't feel afraid. It was like I was disconnected from it all. I saw my fellow soldiers running. I heard their shouts, but they were faint, like they were coming from a million miles away. I knew I was dead. The thought didn't scare me. It was just a fact. Like knowing the sky is blue, I just was. And I was okay. A deep, deep peace started to fill me up. A peace I had never felt on earth, not even in the happiest moments with my family. This was a peace that went to the very core of me. Then I felt a pull, a gentle, loving pull. I turned from the scene below me, and I saw a light. At first, it was far away, like a single star. But it grew bigger and bigger. It wasn't a blinding light. It was warm. It was inviting. It felt alive. I wasn't moving towards it with my body. My soul, my spirit, whatever you want to call it, was just drawn to it, like a cold man being drawn to a warm fire. As I got closer, the light took on a shape. It was a man. I couldn't see his face clearly at first, because the light coming from him was so bright, so pure. But this light wasn't just light. It was love. I know that sounds strange. How can light be love? But it was. Every part of me felt it. It was a love that was more real than the ground I used to walk on. It was a love that knew everything about me, every bad thought I ever had, every selfish thing I ever did. Every time I lied or hurt someone, it knew all of it, and it didn't matter. I was loved completely, not for what I did, but just for who I was. Tears filled my eyes, but they weren't sad tears. They were tears of relief. The weight of my whole life just melted away. The dirt of the world, the anger of the war, my own failures, it all just vanished in his presence. Finally, I was standing before him, and I could see his face. It was Jesus. I knew it instantly. Not from the pictures in church. The pictures are nothing. They are like a child's drawing of the Sunday. He was real. More real than anything I had ever seen. His eyes are what I remember most. They weren't blue or brown. They were made of light and kindness and a wisdom as old as time. When he looked at me, I felt like I was the only person in the universe. He saw me, the real me, the little boy who was scared of the dark, the man who loved his wife so much, the soldier who was so tired. He saw it all, and his eyes were full of love. He didn't speak with a mouth. His voice was in my head, in my heart, everywhere, at once. It was a voice that was both thunder and a whisper. And the first thing he said to me was, "Welcome home, my child. Be at peace." And I just stood there, crying in his light. I didn't want to do anything else. I didn't need anything else. I was home. After a time, I don't know how long, he spoke again. His voice was so gentle, but it had a sadness in it, a deep, cosmic grief. "Dmitri," he said, "I need to show you something." The light around us changed. We weren't in that place of light anymore. We were floating above the earth. I could see the continents, the blue oceans, the swirling white clouds. It was beautiful. So perfect. "This is my creation," he said. "I love it. I love every person on it, but they have forgotten me." Then he showed me things. It wasn't like watching a movie. I was in it. I could feel it. First, he showed me a family in a big city in America. They were sitting around a table full of food, but no one was talking. The father was on his phone, his face angry from something he was reading. The mother was looking at pictures on her little screen, looking sad. The children were playing games on their own devices. They were all together, but they were completely alone. "They have everything," Jesus said, his voice full of sorrow. "But they are empty. Their hearts are not connected to each other, because they are not connected to me." This is where the darkness starts. In the little empty spaces. Then the scene changed. He showed me a church. People were singing loud songs. Their hands were in the air. But Jesus showed me their hearts. One man was thinking about how much money he needed to make that week. A woman was judging the clothes of the person next to her. The pastor was thinking about how popular his sermon would be online. Their prayers were like little bits of smoke that just rose a few feet and disappeared. "They honor me with their lips," he said, and the sadness in his voice was almost too much to bear. "But their hearts are so far from me. They ask for things, but they do not ask for me. They want my blessings, but they do not want my heart. Their prayers do not have power because they are not filled with love." I felt a deep shame. My own prayers had been like that so many times. Just lists of things I wanted, not a real conversation with the God who loved me. Then he showed me something else. And this is the hardest part to talk about. My whole being trembles when I remember it. He showed me the leaders of the world. Not just one country, but many. I saw them in their important rooms, around their big tables. And I saw the spirits that were whispering in their ears. They were dark, twisted things, demons. They whispered about power, about pride, about fear. They told the leaders that the only answer was to be stronger than their enemies, to build bigger weapons, to never back down. The leaders couldn't see them, but they were listening. "This is the great deception," Jesus said to me. "They put their faith in weapons of mass destruction. They believe these things will keep them safe. They are building their own towers of Babel, made of steel and fire. They do not understand that true strength comes from surrender. True safety comes from trusting in me." And then he showed me what happens next. I saw a flash, a light brighter than 1,000 suns. It was on the horizon of a country. I don't know which one. It didn't matter. Then a giant cloud rose up into the sky, a mushroom cloud. But what he showed me was not just the fire. He showed me the souls. I felt it. I felt a million voices crying out all at once. Fear, pain, confusion. Families vaporized in a second. I saw the spirits of mothers looking for their children. I saw the spirits of children, lost and terrified. The wave of death and grief washed over me. It was a pain so total, so absolute, that I collapsed in his presence. I couldn't bear it. And I saw the demons. They were laughing. They were celebrating. Because every soul lost in fear and anger was a victory for them. Then I saw another flash, and another, on the other side of the world. Retaliation, pride, fear, more flashes, more cities turning to dust. I saw London. I saw Moscow. I saw Washington. I saw Beijing. I saw them as beautiful cities full of life, and then I saw them as smoking holes in the ground. The sky of the earth turned dark with ash. The air became poison. The water became poison. I saw people who survived. They were starving. They were sick. They were killing each other for a piece of bread or a drink of clean water. There were no countries anymore. There were no flags. There was only suffering. It was hell on earth, created by man. I lay there weeping. It was too much. The grief was an ocean, and I was drowning in it. Please, I begged him. Please, make it stop. You can stop it. You are God. Jesus knelt beside me. The light from him was softer now. He placed a hand on my back, and a wave of peace flowed into me, pushing back the horror just enough so I could breathe. My child, he said, and his voice was breaking with a divine sorrow. This is the path they are choosing. This is the fruit of decades of cold hearts, of prayerless homes, of prideful nations. I do not want this. My Father does not want this. Every soul that is lost is a universe of pain to us. He looked at me, his eyes pleading. I am holding it back. The prayers of the faithful, the true ones, the humble ones. They are like pillars holding back a collapsing dam. But there are not enough. The dam is cracking. Man's heart is growing colder. They love their opinions more than they love each other. They trust their bombs more than they trust me. So it's hopeless? I asked, my spirit trembling. It's going to happen? Nothing is hopeless while I am on the throne, he said. And for the first time, I felt a wave of pure power and authority from him that shook the heavens. But I do not force my will on man. I offer them a choice. This is the future they are building without me. But it does not have to be this way. He showed me another vision. He showed me a small group of women in a basement in India, praying. Their prayers were like a brilliant pillar of light, going straight up into heaven. He showed me a man in Africa, forgiving the people who had hurt his family. As he forgave them, a spiritual shield of light formed over his village. He showed me a teenager in Brazil who chose to praise God instead of giving into despair. And her praise confused the dark spirits that were trying to torment her family. Look, Jesus said, this is the weapon that can win this war. Not bombs, love, forgiveness, humble prayer, repentance. A single heart that truly turns back to me can change the future of a family. A family that turns back to me can change the future of a city. A city that turns back to me can change the future of a nation. He looked deep into me. I did not show you this to fill you with fear. I showed you this to fill you with a holy fire. Fear is their weapon, hope is mine. I understood. I finally understood. The real war wasn't on the battlefield with guns and tanks. It was in the hearts of every single person on the planet. I felt a calm settle over me. I knew what I needed to do, but I didn't want to. I want to stay here with you, I said, the words catching in my throat. Please don't make me go back. It's so ugly down there. It's so cold. I remember the mud, the blood, the hate in men's eyes. Here, there was only love. He smiled, a sad, gentle smile. He put his hand on my cheek. Dmitri, my brave soldier, your war is not over. I am sending you back as a messenger. You have seen what is coming. You have seen the only way out. Go and tell them to wake up. But I am nobody, I said. I am just a carpenter, a simple soldier, who will listen to me. You will not be alone, he said. His voice was full of promise. I will be with you. I will give you the words. You just have to be willing to speak. Tell them to stop fighting over flags and pieces of land. Tell them to start fighting the real enemy, the hate in their own hearts. Tell them to pray. Not empty words, but prayers from a broken and humble heart. Tell them that their prayers are holding back the darkness. Tell them that I love them, and I am waiting. The thought of leaving him was the worst pain I had ever felt. Worse than the explosion. Worse than seeing the end of the world. It was a tearing of my soul. I begged him, please, let me stay. Your family needs you, he whispered. Anya, little Sophia, you have work to do. But do not worry, this is not goodbye. I will be waiting for you when your work is done. He leaned forward and kissed my forehead. An explosion of pure love and light went through my entire being. And then I was falling. Down, down, back into the darkness, back into the cold. I gasped. The most painful gasp of my life. My chest felt like it was on fire. I was cold. So incredibly cold. My whole body was screaming in pain. Someone was shouting my name. He's breathing. Dmitri is breathing. Get the medic. My eyes fluttered open. The sky was still gray. I could smell the mud and something sharp, like medicine. A young man, a medic, was leaning over me. His face was pale with shock. Hold on, son, he said, his voice shaking. Just hold on. I was put on a stretcher. Everything was a blur of noise and pain. Later, in a field hospital, a doctor came to see me. He was an older man with tired eyes. He looked at my chart, then at me. I don't understand it, he said, shaking his head. You were gone. No heartbeat, no breath. For at least 12 minutes. Medically, that's impossible. And the shrapnel, it was everywhere. It shredded your vest. It should have shredded your heart. But it's like it just stopped. A few millimeters from your heart wall. I've been a doctor for 30 years. I've never seen anything like it. I just lay there. I wept, not from the pain in my body. I wept because I had just left heaven. I wept because I missed him. And I wept because I knew what was coming if the world didn't change. So that is my story. I am not a prophet. I am not a special person. I am a carpenter who was sent to a war he didn't want and saw something he can never forget. Jesus sent me back with a message. For you. For everyone. He said to tell you that the time is short. The world is standing on the edge of a cliff. The leaders are being deceived, and they are putting their faith in weapons that will only lead to our destruction. But there is hope. The hope is you. The hope is in your heart. If you are listening to this, He is calling to you. He is asking you to choose a side, not a country, not a political party. He is asking you to choose love.